Yo, what up, Internet? Welcome to Bricks and Beer, episode 67. Big 6-7. Comes after the Star Wars one, I guess. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for watching. Tonight's beer, today's beer, whenever the fuck you're watching this beer, the Made West, the standard. Brewed up in Ventura. This is their light ale. It's pretty good. I like Midwest. They make a pretty decent IPA. I recently went up northern LA area-ish. Because it's not LA, it's north of LA. But up towards the Ventura area. So I had some Midwest, so I felt like it was fitting to bring it on the show. For those of you who've never seen this, it's your mom's favorite podcast about Lego and beer. As always, uncensored, unedited, unprofessional as fuck. Also uncut. That's the fourth one. It's just me tonight doing a solo episode, the first time in a little while, so that's kind of cool. I guess I've missed you guys. Have you missed me? It's been a while. There was obviously a lot of coverage for BrickCon, and there was the hang I did with Jeff, but I've kind of been MIA for a while. At least as far as like making YouTube videos and being obnoxious on the internet. And there's some reasons for that. So first and foremost, like tonight's show, whatever the fuck you're watching this show, has some great content. Like I got good builds. I got 3 things to show you guys. It's all original content, which hopefully is why you come here. But I'm going to talk more about context, I guess, with those than normal. If you guys have read the description, it probably says some emo bullshit. So you're like, oh man, that's worrisome. It's cool. It's fine. Everything's cool. But yeah, man, post-con burnout. That's a real thing. So we did Technomages, award-winning Technomages. There's the tower. I can see. Yeah, so that's part of Technomages. That's the remainder of Technomages. It's not still in a bin under this table. And it was huge. And it was rad. And it won a bunch of awards, and people really liked it, and it was awesome. It took 8 months to build, which is a long fucking time. And it was a rough one in a lot of ways. Like, it was fine. The build was fine. It came out. But it's just not... I didn't get that, like, instant satisfaction I want. It really was a commitment. And it was bigger than this fucking table. So it was an ordeal to build. So coming off of that, you go from October, you win Best in Show, you win some other fucking trophy. I don't even remember. Best space structure or something. And it was great, but it was like, okay, this is done. I can be done with this. And then you roll right into the holidays. And that's kind of the worst for me. Not to get real heavy, but I get somewhat seasonal depression. And I'm not a big fan of the holidays. So that time of year is a little rough as it is. And then my work went fucking crazy. Like, off the chain. Almost maybe the worst it's ever been, which is both a good and a bad thing, I guess. But it was rough. So like my December was rough. So I just wasn't building from BrickCon on. I did try, kind of like usually. When I come off the convention, 2 things happen. Like number one, I'm always exhausted, but then I come home with some inspiration. Like really inspired by seeing what other people build and what they do and different themes and new things, and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna jump into something. But this year it was such like an ordeal. It felt like, and that makes the whole experience sound negative, which it wasn't by any means. But the build itself, like getting the build there, was a journey. And I didn't even make the crazy epic drive, but it took a lot on me. Like that toll, I paid a little bit for that one. So I just wasn't inspired, really. Like I came off the con, and there was great builds. There was some cool stuff there, but I didn't have like that instant idea generation. Like sometimes I'll be fucking flying home on the plane and be like, oh, dude, I'm going to build this. And I can like count off a number of builds that I've had that have been inspired by different conventions and seeing other people's work and stuff. So it's not to belittle like the other people's work there by any means. There was tons of cool models. There was all kinds of cool shit. It was a great convention. But it just like, there was a lot happening. There's this cumulative effect. And then on top of that, got like another hobby. I went crazy. Not crazy, but I went pretty deep. So I'm shooting foam at people through Nerf guns. So I'm like painting all these Nerf guns and stuff. I debated if I should grab one and show you guys, but I feel like it's off topic. So that was kind of like taking up some of that creative headspace anyway. So there was like, just a lot of shit going on, a lot of life all at once. And then like, hey, here's an outlet for something. All that is to say, it took me a while to get the mojo back and to get it back. And I'll show you something. I don't typically show this stuff. So this is a work in progress. It's not done. It's not going to get done. Like this has been in this state since December-ish? January, maybe December. I don't know. It's all a blur. Anyway, he's a lizard dude. He's got a mohawk. I'm not actually like massively dissatisfied with this. I just didn't. It got so far, and then I just stopped feeling it. It all started with the genesis of this jaw, which is actually a shark head. So if I turn it that way, there's a fin that is sunk up into this ring here. I don't know. Yeah, you can't see it. But it's a shark head, and I was like, oh man, that makes like a total, trap jaw, cool, bionic jaw. And then I happen to have one of these Harry Potter serpent pieces, which is pretty cool. Like, he's alright. It's just not very inspired. And you could tell, like, I built the legs, obviously last, because they're incomplete. And I was just, like, super uninspired by this. Like, I don't know, the articulation. Like, I had this, like, vision of this huge hulking monk monster. So if I take the legs off, it looks much better because it's somewhat more complete as I break it. You know how we do things around here. So there you go. Here's like half a robo steampunk monk punk lizard dude. Yeah, it's a thing. He exists, not for long. So this has been sitting around, and this is one of those things. Is like this is a perfect illustration of the process of getting builder's block. Like starting with the head, and then going to the collar, and then building this, and then like building the shoulders, and then just stop caring. Like, and you kind of try to push it forward, and you throw some shit together, and you just can't fake the funk, man. Like that's really what it comes down to, at least for me. Like if I needed to, like if there was a gun to my head, I would fucking complete this. But in my soul, I would know it was never really good. And it didn't have the passion that it needed behind it. And so it's like, it's one of those things where you start a project and you invest a certain amount of time and effort and bricks. Sometimes it's crazy big. Shout out to Keith, who sends me work in progress stuff of like 4 foot by 8 foot things that then he just scraps because it's just not working. It's not feeling it. The mojo isn't there. Which I get. Like, and I go through this process quite a bit. Like, I never show you guys this because, number one, to varying degrees, like, this looks fairly polished for the part that's in the middle. But it's not a complete thing, right? So I don't want to present half-ass stuff. And a lot of the times, like, you kind of look at stuff like this, and you sort of, like, it goes from, oh, I'm into this, and I got a vision, to, like, that sort of evaporating, and then it's slowly being replaced with just, like, hatred. Like, fucking hate this thing. It's an albatross. It's just there, waiting for you never to complete it. And it's not to say that if you have incomplete mocks, that's a bad thing. Like, shout out to people who fucking keep working on the same thing for years and years, and they make it work, and, like, that's cool. I'm not saying, like, the length of time, although I am somewhat of an instant gratification dude, so, like, if I get this far, and this, to be fair, like, this central bit, I built pretty fast. Like, I built the head with the collar, I think in one night, and then this sort of, like, hump deal. I think just, like, fucking the inspiration disappears, right? So you just don't go as fast. And I can't force that process. And like, It's not to say I can't. I won't. I refuse to because I don't have to. Because this isn't a job. So that's this. This is builder's block and frustration and faking the funk and fucking all of that in a physical format. I don't know. Is this what my incomplete id looks like in the brick form? So that's all sad and emo and bullshit, right? But the mojo's back, guys. It's okay. It's okay. So I have 2 things to show you. One of which I posted on the internet, one of which I have not. So you get an exclusive. But I kind of want to talk about the genesis of this. So hanging out with Jeff, and Jeff always has amazing toys and shit, right? And so he's got this. I'm trying to make this appear for you guys. I gotta use some magic. He always has amazing toys, right? Like just fucking great stuff. There we go. And he has this X-Wing miniature. Shout out to Tabletop Board Games. And it's a M38 Interceptor. This is actually really nice. Shout out to whoever's fucking website this is. And so I'm looking at this thing, and this thing is tiny. It's like an inch focus. But I really, really love this thing. I love the color scheme, which you guys can't see because it looks like blown out white shit. There we go. I love this like tan and brown kind of color palette. I really like the wing bits on it, and I really like the round cockpit, right? So here's what happened. I'm hanging out with Jeff. I take like 1 million photos of this thing. I'm like, cool, I'm going to build this. This is going to be the Mojo fucking resurrection build. And I'm like, yeah, single person fighter. Like, that's easy. That's constrained and manageable and whatnot. So I start it, and then my fucking phone breaks. So I have to get a new phone. So all those photos are gone that I took at Jeff's. And I have no idea what the fuck this thing is called. And I'm busy, and I'm just building. So I continue building. And I build this ship. And it is inspired by that. But it does not look like that. And so I actually, like, asked Jeff to send me the photos when I was 70% of the way there with this. And I was like, ooh, it's inspired by now. So all this stuff I'm going to show you is all kind of like derivative works, right? So it's like, it's not fully, wholly creative, original IP stuff. Like, it's based on things, but they're definitely original builds. They're original concepts. They're original designs in a way. They're like tangential, derivative designs. So enough talking, more mocking. Here's this fucking spaceship. Put the landing gear up so you get the full swoosh effect. It's very Star Wars. It's a bounty hunter ship. It's got somewhat of a more blocky cockpit than the source material. And I'm okay with that. This is the original Slave 1 canopy. It's a 2-stage canopy. But it's cleaner if you lift it up at once. So there's my little bounty hunter dude. I'll pull him out so you can see him in his glorious cockpit. And this is fun, man. This is like good shit. So this took a while. And I don't build in these colors typically. So the dark tan I really have only used for landscaping in the past. I don't really build stuff out of brown. And then definitely like this bright light orange or whatever this is dark orange. I never build in that color. And then this is nougat, which is real crazy, which is like the Clayface color, which is where these vents come from. And you can only do this with this vent because it's so see that grill tile in there? This is a hollow bit so that can actually fit in there. Otherwise you won't be able to do that. So kind of a neat little trick. And then, so I want it to be super clean from the top. And then you can see this is where it like deviates. Is those wing bits are in more to the central column, and the wings are a little more square, where these are sexier and rounder. But I think it's cool. It gives it, an original kind of silhouette. And it's real clean from the top. And then from the bottom, it has some action. So there's like these repulsor things, which makes sense with the dome on top, because what would be under there? And then there's, some cannons. You got some cannons up here. pew pew. They can kind of turn, so you got coverage. And then you've got landing gear. And this is very like Dan Jassim-ish landing gear. It's very simple. It's not hidden at all. But it works, you know? So you just pop these things down and they lands. It rests on this bit. So it's got like a nice little 3-point thing. And then when they close up, when they collapse, they actually fit really nicely so that from the front, you can see they just tuck just a little bit under. So it's pretty clean. And then when this is landed, you've got a little cargo bit back here. So there's a little cargo thing. You're not going to be able to see in there. It's dark as fuck. But yeah, you know, for the complete build. So when you want to throw somebody in the trunk of the car, you can. So see? Kaboom. There you go. See, it even goes lower. So you can throw your bodies or whatever. Oh, do I have a figure? Probably have a figure. Live, uncut people. It would be better if I was better prepared. Oh well. You're like, Andrew, just pick a fig. This was a joke in here. Alright, fuck it. We'll go with this dude. He looks like a scumbag, right? So you got this dude, he's a scumbag, and you need to stash him, so you throw him in the trunk of the car. And there you go. Boom. Clean as fuck. Another action feature. So you see this little R2 unit here in his droid slot. Those are his little feet hanging out down there. He detaches and can, you know, drop out as you do. He's a little helper droid. A bipedal R2 unit kind of looking motherfucker. I really like this dude. He's fun. Fun dude. He's got lots of personality. This tile is from some brickhead. There we go. That tile. That 1x1 tile. That super sexy 1x1 tile. I think it's Kylo Ren. I don't know. It comes from somewhere. There's so much Lego in here that I have no idea where it comes from. Happens all the time. Like, perfect case in point. This emblem comes from some sort of modular. This one right here. I don't have that modular, so I obviously picked it up out of some bin of parts somewhere. Oh, I'll show you the dude, because he's pretty fun. And you can see the interior of the cockpit here. So, yeah, there you go. You can kind of see that. There's sort of some light. There. Control action. It's full of controls. And there's a hose. You know. Gotta have some hose with your spaceship. So I want this dude to be sort of like a knockoff Bosk. Like a Bosk being the reptilian bounty hunter from Empire Strikes Back. Shame on you if you didn't know that. So here he is. He's got a little cape. He's got his fucking crazy face, which is great. The legs are awesome. These are the newer co-molded 2 colors, so they're not printed. They've got actual molding, which I think looks great. I think this torso is older, so it's a cool combo of like new and old. He's olive green, which apparently is how I like my minifigures now. So this dude's really cool. Like, this was a great build, and I did all kinds of crazy iterative stuff where I built 5 different cockpits because I couldn't get it right. And I was like, no, it's gotta have like a cool, you know, silhouette. I wanted it to at least have this curve here that kind of continues. And there's some neat tricks. Like if you look in here, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but see these panels? See how it's trapped right in between the open slot for the stud there? It's good. It's good. I like that shit. This ring is trapped in between the 1x1 wedges, which is some lucky math. So, you know, there's just fun stuff. These pins, I guess, can fold flat, which is a thing. But yeah, it was good. I rebuilt the wings like 100 times, and I rebuilt the cockpit a million times. And shout out to the homie Zach. Like this area up here, this sort of like top cockpit color stripe transition color blocking area, did that a bunch of times. And that's one of the cool things about the Whack Leg homies. You know, I love you, bros. Is you can just kind of like hit people up and be like, "Yo, what do you think about this?" And they will straight up be like, "No, dude, you need to do something else. Try this or this or this." So it gives you like this good feedback. So I think that's part of also what kind of made this happen was like the social experience of building it was pleasurable as well. So like total package, you know, like fucking got the mojo back, had fun. This dude rocking around in here is gonna bug the shit out of me. There you go. Be free. So yeah, man, like builder's block and creative block is a real thing, you know. It's easy to run out of inspiration or get frustrated with yourself for not being able to like achieve the vision you want or get to where you need to go. And it's, I don't know necessarily like what even the point of telling you about this is. I feel like it's something cool to share. It also explains this. Like this is imbued with a lot more meaning and context for me than just like, oh, I built a spaceship and it's a Star Wars spaceship. It's like, hey man, this, you know, you can still do things in a lot of ways. It was like kind of proving to me that I still could build. And you know, there's a certain element to this of like, you get caught up in number one, having a ton of Lego. That's somewhat intimidating at times. And just like trying to do this, like what is the point of building all this stuff? It's just to have fun when it comes down to it. So like, you should be having fun and you should be enjoying the process. And if you're not, like this motherfucker, stop. Do something else. So yeah, so I built this. It took a while. It's really cool. I really like it. I'd like to build like a landing platform with some other bounty hunters, maybe another ship on another platform, and tell some story about double booking a job, and it, you know, add some story and some context and some drama to this build. But that sounds like building a dio, which is not what I'm gonna do right now. So yeah, man, tell me, have you guys like experienced this? Am I alone in this? I know I'm not, because I talk to the homies and they talk about builder's block and shit. And like it's tied a lot with, you know, somewhat of your emotional health, I guess. Which is all good. Again, everything's all good. Built a thing. So I also built another thing. This is the last thing I'll show you guys. But before I even show you guys this, I'll talk about something I bought, which is, you know, a thing. So I bought this Ninjago set. I don't have it with me. It was $10. The important part is it comes with these, which these are the new weapons. This is the old weapon. So it comes with 2 of each of these, which each of these is fucking incredible. I particularly really like this scythe. But then you've got a short sword, Wakazashi, which is great because it matches the long sword. So if I put this sword back, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. There you go. And then they also give you just the sword blade with just a nib on the end of it, so you can make a naginata or a number of other like actual traditional Japanese weapons, which is super cool because they give you, you know, the traditional stuff and then this like really wacky fantasy stuff here. So I'm gonna grab these figs. I'll show you these figs. So the first thing I did with these, the $10 set comes with them in gold. If you buy some other newer giant Ninjago stuff, like if you bought this, which I got on clearance, I think I talked about this last time. It comes with the silver ones, which are far superior. But so like, here's a gigantic bladed naginata, which is rad. This is metal as fuck. Then you got Yeah, your samurai dude. Using this as the crest, which is a bit much, but, you know, whatever. But he's got the wakizashi, which is rad. Look how hard he is. He's a fucking vet. Seen some shit. And then you got, like, your traditional naginata. This is great. Fucking love it. Well, you know, you got your crazy scythe weapons. This new Ninjago stuff also comes with wacky armor. So there's, like, this crazy armor piece. Great stuff, right? So anyway, I've got these new pieces, which are inspirational. You know, some of that mojo stuff, it's really easy just to kind of like start with a piece. This story's kind of the opposite of that. So I wanted to build a thing. I've been looking at a lot of Warhammer 40k stuff, which if you're unaware of that, it's a British tabletop game. It's been around forever, like forever. It's sci-fi fantasy stuff. They have space marines. It's like StarCraft, except before StarCraft. Anyway, so there's orcs. And the orcs are like ridiculous. Like they kind of have magic and that makes their technology work. So in a lot of ways they're like really dumb, but they're ridiculous and awesome. So they have all these new models that have been coming out, which I've just been seeing, and they provide like amazing inspiration. So I wanted to build myself like a orky rover cart thing. And it was February, so it's February. So I built me some orky boys. This is a hot rod piloted by these dudes who are rad. This dude wants you to drive him closer so he can hit him with this sword. Full of pipes and spikes and all kinds of super fun stuff. Flags, autocannons, barbed wire, mohawks, metal as fuck. This is my jam, man. I had a blast building this, and I built this super quick, like over a weekend. You know, this is the kind of build that really works. I'll show you some of my more like. Here's the back. I really like the sticker work. If you guys can see that, it's where the gloss is picking up. There you go. See that? That's sort of like patina. This fucking rusty action. Love it. So good. Spikes for days. Chains. You know, you gotta have some chains. I really like the driving column here. How this all worked out. I can actually like pop this off. Kind of show you what's under here. There's a lot of really weird, complex tricks with this because it's an uneven stud count across the board. So you have to have a lot of jumpers and shit. But you can see like all that's worked in there. Well, drive shaft and all that. It's fucking great. So this was super fun. And I just wanted to build something. And I just fucked around and built it. One of my other favorite things is these little rivets in here. What these actually are is, which is kind of fitting, they're like a temperature gauge that has rivets around it, but because they're covered up by these teeth, they just work, you know? They look fitting, appropriate. And then it's got the sights. And shout out to the wifey. I had this and I didn't have these in here. I had like a different type of thing, and I was talking about how I wanted it to be round in the front, and that wasn't working, and I didn't have this at the time. She was like, why don't you get those new parts that you talk about? And I was like, what parts? What do you pay attention to this? And she was like, yeah, what about this one? And I was like, oh, fuck. So shout out to my wifey being involved in the process as well. And it works. It works really well. You know, it gives it this nice kind of like layered blade vibe in the front that really works. You know, you got some horns. Shout out to Jeff. Jeff gave me these dark metallic pipes. I had gray pipes. I have gray pipes like coming out the wazoo. But the darker ones just work much better. He also supplied the fig faces because I only have one of these demon dudes with these eyes. And so I had like a gimp dude up here who looked terrifying and like a different guy. It was a weird look. But yeah, I fucking love this. And you know, it's like, it's not, I didn't build this to build an exact copy of these Warhammer models I was looking at. I just needed to be in theme and like kind of nail the spirit, which is similar to kind of this, to that original model. So I feel like I took the spirit of two things that I've been checking out, inspired by, and made it my own. Kind of like, manifested my own little versions of this shit. And like, that's kind of the best part about Lego for me, is that I'm not going to go buy these crazy expensive Warhammer models, and I'm not going to paint them. And like, even if I did buy a crazy expensive Warhammer model, and then I went to paint it, and I spent weeks and weeks painting it, I'd have this model that I wouldn't play with, I wouldn't do anything with, and all I want is to have a thing right now. So like, I made my own little toy, I made my own version of the shit, which is great. I think that's really like the point of Lego for me, is to have this medium that I can culminate from, like pull shit and just make whatever I want happen. So it's, I don't know, there's pressure that I think I put on myself just to like keep things going and keep building, and it's unnecessary. But when it works, when you just fucking want to do something, you build something, it's fucking awesome. So yeah, I guess that's this episode, right? That's half hour-ish. That's enough of me talking. Real quick before we get out of here, the shirt, Forever Sorting. It's awesome. Bought at Bricks LA. Will Heron, he has a website, willheron.com, I think. Just want to make sure I give this guy, yeah, Will Heron. Heron. I don't think you can buy this shirt there. Send him an email. Dude's super cool. I went to the convention and I was like, hey, I'd like to buy this shirt. And he had it not in black. He had it in some other colors that are fine, but they weren't for me. And he was like, yeah, if you see anything, you want a different color or different size, I don't have it, just let me know. You can pay me now. I'll just send it to you. So I paid him fucking $20 for a shirt, and he sent me this shirt like 2 weeks later. So fucking shout out to you, Will. I love this shirt. It's like the perfect kind of Lego shirt where it's somewhat hipster, where like I could just wear this and be like, oh, it's a weird art design, or a band t-shirt or something. I don't have to be like, sneaky Lego nerd shit. So on that sneaky Lego nerd shit, I'm gonna show you guys one last thing. I guess that's 3 builds, right? 3. I promised you 3. How about like 3 and a 1/8? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be fucking good. On that note, thanks for watching. Smash that like button. Is that what they do now? I haven't been on YouTube for a while. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the future.